busted in. We broke down the door, we came to win. TLA Season 4, it's a whole new game. We the agents of change, whole new scope with a whole new range. It didn't exist, so we built our own lane. We all knew the risk, it's a cold-ass game. But first and foremost, we reppin' the fans because we nothing but fans living out our dreams. Crossing the pond with these 32 teams. There's only one road and there's only 5 kings.
Thank you for visiting 32 Kings Road, hosted by the League Ambassadors. I'm Ambassador Kenny Ken, and it is my pleasure to be here today with my brothers. This is Sexy Episode 69, Season 4 of our show. And what we're going to do today, we're going to continue our conversation, previewing the teams that are participating in this year's NFL International Series. We'll focus exclusively on the Houston Texans. We will also discuss big moments in Week 3, a lot of coaching blunders. We will also nominate our newest rabbit hole winner, as well as the latest addition in our S. Carter Collective. As a reminder, you can follow us everywhere on social media. Our handle is @TheLeagueAM. Also, please check out our website, theleagueam.com. Also, please subscribe to and rate our YouTube channel, League Ambassadors. Kev, what you sipping on, sir?
Gentlemen, I'm sipping on ginger beer, which is it was a good idea the first half. Second half was a struggle. But I'm sipping on, again, a little bit of history on this day, 1972. Joe Namath and John Unitas combined to set a record for 872 yards passing in a single game. Joe Namath had 496 yards and 6 touchdowns. Fucking insane. But they did throw the ball back then, believe it or not.
What do you remember most about that game?
I would defer to Omar.
Kev, you look tired, B.
Hey, it's been a long day, man. Long day.
Shit.
Redo, what you sipping on, sir?
I'm sipping on a little Cedre like always. And I'm also sipping on the fact that my Chicago Bears head coach, Mr. Nagy, proclaimed to the world, without saying a word, that Mitch Trubisky is not to be trusted. He decided to Jeff Goff him the whole game. He was in his ear like McVay is in Goff's ear, had him playing with tempo and waiting for the defense to declare, and he told him what to do. And I like the results, but I know what the fuck it says, and it says true ain't it.
So Nagy is Jim Henson.
I want to know who Jeff Goff is.
Jerry Goff, whoever the fuck Jeff Jerry. He's always going to be stuck to Jeff Fisher. That's in his mind.
I'm sipping on a little bit of Bloody Mary. This is actually a tasty Bloody Mary from Fugu Vodka. Come holler at us, Fugu Vodka, down in San Diego. There's a redshirting rule that happened in NCAA football about a couple of years ago, where essentially the rule was changed so that now players can play for the first 4 games and then they can sit out the rest of the season in redshirt, which, makes sense. Let some freshmen, some guys who probably aren't going to play, give them an opportunity to play in the earlier season games, which, in theory should be easier games. But now, starting quarterback for the University of Houston, Mr. D'Eriq King, and I'll let you figure out how to spell D'Eriq, he's putting a new twist on this rule. As I said, he's the starting quarterback, a very talented quarterback, and he's redshirting because Dana Holgorsen, who's the head coach now at the University of Houston, formerly of West Virginia University, is where he made his play. Houston has changed coaches the last 3 years, actually. This is the third coach in the third year. And when Dana took the job, he was like, man, I wish that I could have D'Eriq for longer than just 1 year. Well, now they are exploiting this rule where D'Eriq got to play for the first 4 games, played very well. In fact, they had a great, compelling game against the University of Tulane last week. And now he's redshirting, and he put out there that he was going to be in the transfer portal. But then he came out today and said, no, I have no intention of transferring. I'm going to stay here with the University of Houston and just get another year of eligibility. Yet another sign that the NCAA system is crumbling.
Antiquated.
Dan,
Hey, Jeff.
It's one of them days.
How old are you? I'm 27.
Hey,
I believe.
Dad, what you sipping on?
Hey, there it is. There it is. I'm sipping on Uber everywhere because that's what I'm going to do for the next couple of days. But through 3 games, the Miami Dolphins have given up 133 points. To put that in perspective, in 2000, the Baltimore Ravens gave up 165 throughout the entire season. That's it.
That's one of those.
That's it.
That's one of those stats where the team you mentioned is very good, and the team that you're talking about is very bad.
Historically bad.
133 points.
Junior Blue, what you sipping on, sir?
Well, I'm sipping on this C. Dre.
Bloody teeth.
And yeah, it's a little bit. Then I'm also sipping on the fact that, my Raiders are 1-2 right now, so I don't think we're gonna make the AFC Championship game. But there does look like 2 teams. It looks like it's gonna be a rematch this year. I really want to know, with the Patriots and with the Chiefs being 3-0 and being pretty much dominant throughout their 3 games, is there any team in the AFC that can actually derail a rematch of the AFC Championship game? And I'm going to go to Kenyon first because I know what...
Wow, I'm surprised that you're calling a conference after 3 games. It's not a bad argument. Even after this Sunday, I'm sure they'll touch on it, so I won't rain on their parade, but definitely Baltimore will definitely have something to say at the end of the season. But to your point, Junior Blue, once you get past Baltimore,
Cliff.
maybe the Texans. I was surprised that Los Angeles
block.
No. Well, that's what I was saying. They only gave up 2 sacks this weekend. It was a significant improvement. And we have seen examples in previous NFL seasons, particularly when we talk about offensive line play, where as the season went on, a team's line did get better. So that would be, I guess, the one wild card. But yeah, to your point, it does look like it could be a rematch, but Baltimore is definitely going to have something to say about it at the end of the season.
I
think this is... Go ahead, Dad.
No, go. Okay.
It just kind of reminds me of what of Omar's NBA Finals prediction. Like, look, man, if without injuries, this is starting to look like a wash. even as a Ravens fan, I'd love to say we would, we'll be there, and I think we will be. But the Patriots and the Chiefs just don't make the mistakes that other teams make. Like, granted, yes, it's early, it's still September, but they don't shoot themselves in the foot. And of course, this is foreshadowing to a later segment, but I don't really see. I like Houston. I think maybe the Chargers, just from a talent standpoint. Like, I think that the Ravens, Texans, and the Chargers is maybe the last team in that group that may have the talent, at least the quarterback play and the talent on both sides of the ball to compete. But yeah, unless some glaring injury comes up, I wouldn't be surprised if this is another rematch.
Yeah, I know at least one of those teams is going to make it to the AFC Championship game. It's pretty sad that you can declare that in Week 3. But I also think with our game with the Chiefs and the Ravens, which we'll get a lot into later, the blueprint is kind of there. And we know that New England will do the things that they are supposed to do, unlike certain teams.
Unlike most teams.
Yeah. But, if you just look at each conference, we're going to talk about the Bills later. The AFC North, the Crown Princes haven't done shit yet. The Steelers are done. We know what the Bengals are. Indy's going to give everybody a hard time, but I don't think they're going to get anywhere. They might get to the playoffs, maybe. But yeah, I think, like everyone has said, I think if there is one team, it's the Ravens. Taking my purple and gold glasses off, I think that's still the only team that could give them a run.
Now, I know it's probably not going to last because of the teams they've played, but it's still a reason. They have right now. The Patriots have the number 1 defense in the league.
3 points all year they've given up.
Yeah, but it'll change once they play better teams.
Yeah.
But they are the number one defense in the league, and you believe it when it's the Patriots. And then you have the Chiefs, who everyone was saying there was going to be a slight regression, and he's on pace for 6,000 yards and 60 touchdowns, not 50. Right. So
Wait a segue.
It is a
For,
foregone conclusion, as just like Chef Curry said, it's like the NBA. You've known what it was going to be, and unless there's injuries, I don't see it anyone else.
Well, lucky for the NFC, only one of those teams can come out the conference. And I think that they would have more trouble matching up with NFC teams, whether it be, even though the Cowboys ain't fucking play nobody. I think they have the formula. I'm still holding on to my Bears Super Bowl pick. I think if, one player, and I saw that motherfucking first it's going to be a rough, 13 games left? In the Packers, I like what the Packers and Vikings are doing. So I think there are teams in the NFC that will match up against them in the Super Bowl, but we are months away from that.
Yeah, let's see. Let's just see how it plays out.
Hey, does Mahomes repeat as MVP? I mean, they don't have a running game.
Not at all.
So
they ran 3 times against us. I
They're
believe.
putting the ball in his hands every play.
Like he said, he's on pace for 6,000 yards
And like 55.
I think the only way that this happens, and again, take my bias out of it, this is real shit. If Lamar throws for 30 touchdowns, rushes for almost 1,000, we have a comparable record. And he has like 10 rushing touchdowns on some like college Heisman shit. That's the only way you can come close. Other than that, it's a wrap.
No one's talking about it, but he's actually going through adversity because he keeps losing players.
Right.
And he's still doing it by himself. So it's like it's again, to me, if he keeps up the pace, it's almost another foregone conclusion.
Man, what happens when Hill comes back?
You get a chance to look at some of those throws that he made against us on Sunday. It was like a sky view of the touchdown he threw in the top left corner. The receiver didn't even start to break out that route. Like, you're talking about throwing guys open. This was before you couldn't even tell where he was going, and Mahomes was already ball in the air, and the receiver runs his route and looks up. And it's, again, unless somebody gets injured, he's winning the MVP again this year.
All right, well, let's get to our moments in Hand Egg. As you know, we here, the league ambassadors, what we like to do is we like to focus on the teams that will be participating in the season's NFL International Series. The last couple of weeks, we have talked a little bit about the Chicago Bears and the Oakland Raiders, which is the first international matchup. And then last week, we talked about the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Today, we want to focus on the AFC South Houston Texans, who will be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars actually in the last game in London this year at Wembley Stadium on November 3rd. They're going to be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. And listen, if you have watched or listened to any of our podcasts here on 32 Kings Road,
we are done talking about the Jags.
We are done talking about the Jags. The Houston Texans, though, are new. They first entered the NFL in 2002 as an expansion team. So they are the youngest franchise currently competing in the NFL. The Texans replaced the city's previous NFL franchise, the Houston Oilers, who, as you may or may not know, then moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and are now known as the Tennessee Titans. The team was founded and owned by Bob McNair from 1999 until his death in 2018. And now his wife and his son have majority ownership. They are coached by Bill O'Brien. And we'll just start with this right here. Kevin, the best year in franchise history for the Houston Texans, in your opinion, is?
Their best year, I had to go with 2012. They were 5-1 in the division. Won the division. They actually got the quarterback to finish the full season, which is unheard of in their neck of the woods. And Matt Schaub, if you can remember, played pretty well. He got hurt late in the season before, where I actually thought, just looking at game by game, comparing 2011, 2012, that team may have actually been better because he got hurt. TJ Yates or whoever the hell else was there. I think Matt Leinart may have stepped in and played quarterback a couple times. The end of their season kind of derailed. But, I mean, even you look at Arian Foster at that time was of sound mind and body.
Say that
He
again.
had 17 total touchdowns. Won the home playoff game against Cincy before they lost to the Patriots. So I would say, as a full body of work, 2012 was probably their best season. But they're a young team.
Right.
Dat?
I have the same year. This team or this franchise they're the only team that has never gone to a conference championship. Like Kevin said, they got to the playoffs. I believe their record was 12-4 that year.
The only team in NFL
in
history?
NFL history to not
Wow.
go to a conference championship.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixth God, aka Matt Schaub, actually made a Pro Bowl. Arian Foster, like you said, had 17 total touchdowns. He made a Pro Bowl. Andre Johnson, who we'll talk about in a little bit, he made a Pro Bowl. They had 5 Pro Bowlers on offense. If you add Owen Daniels in their center, Chris Myers. Then they had 2 on defense, which is J.J. Watt, who was first team All Pro. Then you had what the hell is Mike doing? But and then we also had Joe Flacco's favorite target, Jonathan Joseph, who also made a Pro Bowl. So I think if you look at the overall successes, the furthest they've went, the best record they had in all of those Pro Bowls and first team All Pros, I think it has to be 2012.
Redo?
Yeah, I had 2012 also. They have won their division 5 times. You go through it, and it's one of those things where it's like, all right, they were 12-4. And last year they were 11-5, and what they won their last 6 games, I think. And if you go now, if we ask this question 6 months from now, we might be saying this year is going to be their best year, the way it's looking. But I'm going with 2012.
I'm going to break up the monotony here and say that 2016 was their best year. Let's start in the month of March. March 9th, 2016, the Texans signed former Denver Broncos quarterback Brock Osweiler. Yeah.
Sight unseen.
Mr. Sight Unseen to a 4-year, $72 million deal. Now, what ended up happening is that he sucked, which he sucked before he got the money. But 2016 was also the first year that Coach Bill O'Brien took over the franchise. And he did something that I think, if you just think about the history of NFL teams across the board, was almost unthinkable. And that is, he benched the big time offseason acquisition. He benched him. And then they had Tom Savage, and Savage led a comeback effort. He started the remainder of the season. The Texans ended up clinching their AFC South Division title, and they went on and they lost, obviously, in the first round in the playoffs. But because he made that move in 2016, even though, because what happens, we've seen this story a lot of times with NFL franchises. They say, hey, we paid this guy this money. We at least got to run it back one more year. We got to see it one more time. But no, they paid him the money because Bill O'Brien had the stones to bench Osweiler. Then in 2017, there was a quarterback.
Mitch Trubisky. Oh, wait.
No, not Mitch.
Should have been.
Mitch was gone. Mitch
Yes.
was already gone. He was already gone.
Off the board early.
He was off the board early. He went early.
Yeah. He didn't go 3.
He went 2.
He went 2.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
They could
yeah.
have got him at 4.
Yeah.
We had the 3rd pick.
No. But you know what,
We
though?
only went up 1 pick.
That's right. They did. The Bears went up 1 pick. Listen, don't feel bad. Houston went up 2. They went up to 12. And you know who they took? Deshaun Watson. And if Bill O'Brien doesn't do what needed to be done in 2016, I guarantee you they don't take Deshaun Watson in the 2017 NFL draft. And for a franchise, for an organization that doesn't have a lot of history, doesn't have a lot of success, for me, I think that is the most important year
Well,
in
is
their
it
franchise.
most important or best year?
It is their best year.
It's definitely the most important.
It's all of
It's
the.
their best because it's the most important.
Let's move this goalpost here.
And to follow suit with him, my best year was 2017. because they actually put Deshaun Watson in after starting Tom Savage. I don't
He
care
didn't last
if they
a
win.
half, did he?
It was a half. Right? Kev called it.
It was a half.
Yeah,
Kev
he laughed it. A half. Kev called it. They won 4. He played 6 games. They only won 4 games. He won 3 of them. So it was, and the list of quarterbacks. Let's go down the list.
Let's do that.
We have David Carr,
Trash.
They
Matt
destroyed his
Schaub.
career though.
Trash.
Fitzmagic,
Trash.
Brian Hoyer,
Trash.
Brock Osweiler, Tom Savage, and finally they had hope in Deshaun Watson, who showed up in game 1, second half of game 1, 2017, and that was the first quarterback in their history that they truly had hope and played on the field like they wanted him to.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go to when you have a chance, go to our second season. Before the show's over, we're going to find the exact episode, but it was our NFL preview episode for season 2, where Kevin literally said that Deshaun Watson would be starting
By 2 p.m.
by 2 p.m. on Sunday.
What's crazy is out of half of those names that Les gave, those guys are still playing in the NFL for somehow. But hey, real quick though, because you know what, in reading this, I kind of approached this as the most important year, and then I went back and read the notes like, well, can y'all say it so? That's what we're going to do. I thought that their most important year, in my opinion, was 2002 because, of course, that's when the franchise started. But they also let David Carr get sacked 76 times. And I'm going to say that again because that is an NFL record. 76 times, which pretty much set the narrative for the next 17 years of this franchise, that they will not protect their quarterback. And all of their key players, top players, whether it's J.J. Watt, Deshaun Watson, David Carr, the kid Fuller, the receiver that gets hurt every year.
Will Fuller.
All of their star players get hurt. It's like it started there.
I don't think y'all heard that he slipped into week 5. He just prognosticated, said Will Fuller's gonna get hurt in week 5 because he gets hurt in week 5 every year, and it's usually on a go route. It's usually on a go route in the fourth quarter with about 7 minutes left.
And the hammies are tight.
I was gonna say, when you said 76, they set the record for 76 sacks, and I was gonna say, yeah, and they've been chasing that record ever since.
They on his heels.
Deshaun Watson's on pace.
We'll stay with you, Kev, for our S. Carter Collective. Who are you featuring this week that mirrors or parallels the hip hop artist known as Jay-Z?
Well, just to let those know who haven't followed, we're going to do this every week now that Mr. Sean Corey Carter is playing an integral part in the NFL. We're going to apply some of his most descriptive lyrics to some happenings around the league. In this past week, several young quarterbacks have uprooted a veteran. And they're here to make their claim as the guy, at least if not this season, and they're moving forward, whether that be Teddy Bridgewater, Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, who was waiting yesterday, and the GOAT, Gardner Minshew, but no one, and I mean no one, has taken over the reins the way that Mr. Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, has in New York. And I don't think there's a Jay-Z song that, kind of describes this dynamic any more than Coming of Age, the sequel, featuring Mr. Memphis Bleak, who starts his verse off, and I quote, turn me up in the headphone, Mike, "Look at this dude fronting, trying to take my shine. I didn't say this verbally, just had some shit on my mind. And I've been puffing like an ounce more than I used to puff, taking advice from these dudes. They ain't used to stuff. They had me thinking, I'm the one that moved the stuff, while Eli drive around New York in brand new coupes and stuff. I swear to God, they had me practically hating his guts. He approached. I said, Eli, what up? I gave him up. Put my life on the line. That was my time to shine. So I just thought that was a song that fit Mr. Danny Dimes, who is the reason Eli Manning will never wear an NFL uniform and actually get on the field again in his career. He's done.
Oh shit.
Red Oak, Kev is coming for your crown.
Hey man, that was good. That was good.
All right, let's continue with our Moments in Hendeg with what I think is an interesting discussion. I'm actually really excited to hear
You think you slick too?
the thoughts and the opinions of the league ambassadors here. When thinking about the Houston Texans, obviously J.J. Watt, he stands out, bar none. We've got some questions that we need some answers for, but we'll save that for another show. But
Lou Ferrigno.
you have to think about the wide receiver position, and you start with Mr. Andre Johnson, University of Miami, and he was an absolute star for the Texans at the wideout position. But there is a guy today who, for me, he is one of, if not my most favorite guy to watch today, Mr. DeAndre Hopkins. And the question I have for you guys, and I'll start with you, Red O, is Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins. Who's your pick?
If you look at their stats, the funny thing is DeAndre is on pace to just match Andre Johnson. He played for 14 years. I believe DeAndre's 7. It is literally the tale of 7 years. Stats are cut in half. Now, DeAndre is the most exciting. He don't drop passes except that one fucking game.
Facts.
But if you look at the numbers, they are almost identical. If you deep dive, like they both got a couple 1,500 yards. 14,000 is what he ended up with. He's at 7 halfway through. Like, it is identical. They both had shitty quarterbacks for a long time, and now that he has one, this is one who can't stay healthy. Like, it is almost identical. So at this point, the only thing you can say is this man did it for 14 years because, you know, I'm a big believer in not discounting longevity.
We know, given your age.
Walked right into it.
Derek Fisher, throw me a lot. Listen.
Sometimes it happens like that. God damn. Statement still stands. So, with that said, I'm going with Andre because I think DeAndre has to do it for another 7 years in order to be considered the best wide receiver in their franchise.
You agree, Junior Blue?
Actually, no. I actually have Hopkins as being their best receiver. He is in his 7th year, and he is, you know, he's only 3 games in. He has 3 years with double-digit touchdowns. Andre Johnson, 0. He also has DeAndre has 4 seasons over 1,000 in his first 6 years, and he's well on his way to pass. He's on pace for this year to do it again, where Andre Johnson in his 14 years only had 6 over 1,000.
Interesting. That's a lower number than I would have thought.
Then on top of that, let's just use their first 6 years in their career. Hopkins has missed 1 game, where Andre Johnson missed 13 games. So he fought to play in that 1 game he missed a year ago. So that's why I have him. Now, granted, he will have to do this for an extended period of time, but he's well on his way, on pace to shatter every record he had, and I think he is the best that they've had.
Dad?
I'm going to go with the old dog. I'm going to say Andre just for the simple fact that, again, I give credence to what O said, him having to do it longer. He's the only player in the Ring of Honor for Houston, so he gets the nod. The numbers are, he is on pace to actually surpass him.
Right.
But since 2013, when Hopkins came in the league, he's played for 10 quarterbacks. 9 of them weren't Deshaun Watson. On the other hand, Andre Johnson, none of them were named Deshaun Watson. Well, the ones that weren't named Deshaun Watson, which was only for a short period of time, ones that you didn't mention earlier, Tony Banks, Dave Rigoni, Sage Rosenfels, let's not forget him.
Jesus, the Sage!
And
That's
Brandon
nasty.
Wheaton was another one that wasn't mentioned by you guys.
Wheaton.
So I think if Andre Johnson had Deshaun Watson for the amount of time that Hopkins will have him, I don't think it's a close discussion at all.
You agree, Kev?
Well, when I look at players who, especially with comparing eras, and I don't think it applies more now with the receiver position than ever before because just the game just changed. And I just think that the way Andre played like embodied that decade, like the larger, more physical receivers compare him to T.O. and to Calvin Johnson during the era, as opposed to Hopkins now, who is the speedy, more elusive speed guy. But we look at longevity, and I definitely think that's important. All the points Devin brought up about who he had thrown to him. Who's played in more playoff games? be surprised to know that they've both played in 4. And I don't want to necessarily take that away from Andre Johnson. I just feel like when it's all said and done, Hopkins is going to be there for their golden years. And it's, of course, a young franchise, but the years where this team is consistently good because he has that quarterback. I would want to give Hopkins a nod. The only thing I'll say to give Andre the bump is that he snapped and fucked Portland.
That had to be brought up.
That's a big dude, man.
Until DeAndre Hopkins does that to Jalen Ramsey, I can't necessarily. Hey, and he got about 3 more games left before he no longer in that division. So
I don't even think he'll have the 3 games. I don't think Jalen Ramsey is playing again.
Just to piggyback on what you said about errors, this era passes the ball a shit ton more. So what happens if Andre plays in this era?
What did you say about he's in the Houston's what?
The Ring of Honor.
Okay. Are you going?
I'm listening.
He's also in V-Live's Ring of Honor. I witnessed. Shout out to V-Live.
So for those 2 things, Corbin Finnegan and V-Live, he gets the
Son, got it popping.
Let's move on to football T, where we discuss our hot topics. For the record, I lean towards Hopkins. I don't think Andre Johnson has ever been the best receiver in a season in his era. DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver to
Brandon
me
Weeden.
in football.
Tony Banks.
We will start with bad coaching philosophy this week in the NFL. The Baltimore Boys, their head coach, Mr. Jim Harbaugh versus the Chiefs. The way that I would sort of summarize it is to say that he called a very aggressive game plan.
Some would say strange.
Strange. Yeah, you do something strange for a little change. And maybe he was trying to change something. I don't know. But we'll get into that. And then you've got Freddie Kitchens going against the Cleveland Browns, going against the Los Angeles Rams. A mysterious 4th and 9 call where he called a draw. They get down to the goal line there towards the end of the game, and their most successful offensive player was Nick Chubb, and he doesn't touch it, not one time. Clearly the line was having trouble blocking Aaron Donald. And then Bruce Arians, he snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, literally with 2 crucial fourth quarter decisions. For you guys, what was the biggest miss from a coaching perspective out of those 3 games? We will end with the Baltimore Boys. I will start with you, Junior Blue. What's your biggest miss?
Arians, because they should have won the game. Like you said,
Correct.
He snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory.
Okay.
And
I was going to let it go.
The fact that he took a penalty to back his own kicker up, saying, "Hey, it makes it an easier kick."
What happened after?
He missed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean that, I everybody else, except for Kitchens, Baltimore, I kind of understood what he was trying to do, but more than I'm gonna take a penalty to back my kicker up.
Well, what about even before getting to that point? In the fourth quarter, with about 3 minutes left, Tampa Bay had driven down the field. They had success all game, moving the ball. They were scoring points. It's 4th and 2. They're up
3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if they go for the 4th down at 4th and 2, when they've been moving the ball, they convert the first down. It's likely they score the touchdown, right? And then the game is out of reach because it's a 2-possession game. Or worst case scenario, you get the first down and you burn more time off the clock so that Danny Dimes doesn't have time to drive down the field. And instead of you doing either one of those things, you kick the field goal, which he made, but it made it so that New York could get the ball back even before getting to the field goal.
To me, that's a judgment call. Like, to me, I would go for it, but to him, he was relying on his defense. You personally,
went for that shit.
especially against the Chiefs. But even you said they most likely would score a touchdown. Really? Like the Buccaneers would likely score a touchdown.
Judging
there.
by what they've done
I'm
to
taking the
that
points
point in
there.
the game.
I'm kicking the field.
That's
goal
what I'm saying.
person.
That's why I feel like it's a judgment at that
It's
point.
still, though, they're taking more time off the clock.
But he's forcing
Because now they have to use their timeouts.
But he's forcing the Giants to score a
Have to
touchdown
score a touchdown. Absolutely.
instead of just a field goal ties the
tie it,
game and
exactly.
they go to overtime.
You play the
Redo?
numbers game.
The strangest call to me, and it leads to just Freddie Kitchens, period. Like that 4th and 9 draw. What the fuck was going on there? When Cleveland fans start to boo,
Catch you off guard with this one.
They're not gonna see this one coming, Jack.
this is it. And then you start to realize, he was he the running back coach first? And then the quarterback coach, and then offensive coordinator, then the head coach, all in like 1 year. Like you start to see, wait a second, maybe he's a little ahead of his skis.
That's not even the worst thing that Freddie Kitchens did in that game.
Yeah, but that shit
They
was
had the
insane.
Yeah, no, it was by far. This award goes to Freddie Kitchens. But they had the ball on the 4-yard line with all 3 timeouts.
Talk to me,
Offensive
Kev.
line
Yeah.
couldn't protect their quarterback in the first 3 games of the season, and you throw the ball. You
Talk-
don't run it once.
Not once.
Well, not even that. You
No.
can pass the ball all 3 times before you throw the pick, but at least line up. Don't line up in empty because you know you're not going to run.
You know you're not going to run. Yeah, that was just awful.
I mean, for him, I mean, aside from just that game, this whole season has been a calamity. And like we said, people were crowning him. We've been talking about it all season. You got to show us. Right now, only 27% of their drives have resulted in a score. That's
Say that again.
4th lowest in the NFL.
Say that again.
2 of the 3 teams that are ahead of them are the Jets and the Dolphins.
Wait a minute. No, time out. No.
Say that again.
Did you say ahead of them?
No,
Behind
them.
Oh.
Because that shit's
Yeah,
a whole
That's
nother.
all that.
behind them. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but
Either way,
they're tied.
It is. You shouldn't be anywhere near them.
And if you're supposed to be this offensive juggernaut with all these weapons, you can't be doing that.
And-
you're leading the
he's in
league.
over his head.
You're leading the league. You're tied with Atlanta in the most penalties per game. That's coaching.
Yeah.
11.7. That's like some 2007 Raiders shit.
Yeah, him and Dan Quinn are definitely on
Bless him ain't gonna last that long though. He been real quiet. Like he ain't been chill. He ain't getting the
Too
ball.
quiet.
Like, yes, and that ain't gonna last that long.
Well, but I mean, Freddie Kitchens, I don't want to lose sight of what he's not doing. And I had mentioned to you, we had talked about it yesterday, and then I guess there was a story that came along with it. I said to you, I was like, yo, like, there's a reason why there are only literally a handful of coaches, head coaches, that also call plays. It's a different responsibility. And maybe he shouldn't be calling plays because the play calling is awful. And that's to say nothing of what Baker Mayfield isn't doing, and which is why I bring him up to your point about bless him, about Jarvis Landry.
One read.
I mean, he's not only one read, but he's completing literally 50% of his passes. So if I only got one read and I'm only completing half of the passes, well, everybody's going to starve.
What are those coaches that are calling plays? It's Shanahan,
Reed
Gruden,
calls plays.
Gruden in Washington.
The Grudens, Reed,
Nagy
calls plays 4. LaFleur calls plays 5. You could have replaced him with McCarthy 5. The list doesn't get much bigger than that. There's a reason for that. And really, out of those 5 that I called, Andy Reid is the only one that you could say is successful at it.
He's the one doing it the longest.
So, they've got to reevaluate some things. Baltimore guys.
I'll say, yeah, we have a coach who has never called plays, and we see how that shit.
Yeah, Kev.
Go ahead, Kev. You start.
Yeah,
Chase them points,
yeah,
Kev.
and I might take all the points there for this, but let me do it. And to get to your point, Kenyon, when you said there's a difference to me though. It's the difference between being aggressive and being dumb. And although I don't agree with the decision to go for 2, like, okay, the penalty on the extra point puts us at the half-yard mark. I understand that. You want to go for it. I wouldn't do it. I understand why he did it. But I'm not running Lamar Jackson on an outside sweep when Mark Ingram's getting a first down every time he touches the football.
Yep.
They had no answer for him.
Yep.
So I'll let that ride. What got me was okay, it's 4th and 1 or 2 on our own 30 or 40, and we're going to go for it instead of punt the ball and make Patrick Mahomes go 80, 90 yards, which he very well could do. But if he's going to do that, we're going to lose anyway. But I'm not going to give the MVP a 30, 40-yard field at home when they have all the momentum. And to me, I just think the game plan, and I said it to Devin, I went back and read the text actually before the show. I said it 7 times to you that we need to run the ball 45 times. And I was not exaggerating.
And
I think
could
that's
have.
the formula to win. And we were getting 6-7 yards a pop and ran the ball 32 times. Lamar Jackson threw it, 43? Our offense is not designed for us to play like that just yet. And I just think we got too cute. We tried to finesse a finesse team instead of punching them in the mouth. And we see the result.
And again, what you said that makes the most sense is run, run, run. We came out after the second half and we ran the ball 8 straight times and ran right down the fucking field and scored. And then from that point on,
4th and 9, we should have ran a draw.
they can't. That's why I was talking about earlier. We might get to it. The blueprint is there. They can't stop the run. Run on them. What that does is that beats them up. That also keeps that offense off the field, which nobody can slow down. Nobody. So the thing that pissed me off the most is the point chasing that you mentioned. Like, okay, I get it, but you don't take points off the board. If Tucker made the extra point and they called a penalty, kick the ball off. Let's get the 7.
Listen, it's the reason why when we talked about this game last week, I was hesitant. Not because I didn't believe Baltimore could do it, because all the ingredients are there, but because how many times have we seen coaches just not do the obvious winning game plan?
It was his birthday the next day, man. He was trying to show out.
You told me that, and it was like, oh, so they was going to go to all the bars in Kansas City and just turn it up. I don't understand
All
it.
2 of them.
Moving on, we've got now at this point, I believe the number is 7 winless teams. Maybe it's 6 here in the NFL.
That's 7. It's
7. All right. We've got the Jets and the Dolphins, who we've had fun with already. We've got the Denver Broncos that are also sadly 0-3. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals. Not entirely surprising, but they're also 0-3. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 0-3. The team in Washington, who Kevin went and paid money to and supported. Patronized.
Like a real hoe.
Bear down, Omar.
Yes, sir.
0-3. And then we have the Arizona Cardinals, who are not 0-3, but they are winless. They are 0-2-1. And so the question I have for you guys is, well, cue it up, Devin.
The Funky Monkeys is coming.
There is going to be a Funky Monkey game this weekend between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I bet the executives at NBC are lamenting this choice. They're both 0-3, so somebody's going to get a win.
This is it.
Somebody's going to get a win.
Wouldn't it be some league ambassador shit that they tied?
But putting that aside, is there any hope for any of these 7 teams? And if so, which team is it? I'll start with you, Dad.
That was my answer because that's inevitable. But if you look at the teams, I would say that I have to look at the schedule, but maybe the Broncos.
Maybe the Broncos. Vic Fangio.
I mean, that defense can't be that bad that long, can it?
That's for 3 games.
Redo, you got an up-close look at them as they played your Bears last week. Do you agree with Dad that could be the team to turn it around?
Are we talking about turning it around or getting a win?
That's the thing.
Listen, we know getting a win. Somebody's going to get a win.
Because the Jets play the Dolphins, they're going to get a win.
Yeah.
But I think the Broncos have the most talent. And then you talk about
not if you listen to Emmanuel Sanders. He said we are in Suckville.
Because they want to win. But when AJ Green comes back, I think the Bengals will get a victory, and they will probably get a couple victories. I don't think any of these teams are any good where it will get turned around. I think they're in a fight for who sucks the least.
Interesting. You agree, Junior Blue?
I'm going to say the Jets, mainly because once they get Mono back, they'll have their quarterback. They'll have their quarterback back, and their defense with Mosley in there is pretty good.
When he comes back.
When he comes back, it's pretty good, and I think out of all them, they probably have, I want to say, the most talent.
Mono
And they also play
is physically
in the
hard to
AFC
come back
East,
from.
They also play the Dolphins twice.
Twice,
What's the
yeah,
first
so
game?
He's
against
had
the Dolphins?
mono before back at USC.
So he's used to it.
He's used to
Yeah,
it.
your liver is enlarged. You can't play football until it shrinks like
the
that.
spleen
Or
but
whatever
yes.
it is, same shit. It's shit you take out. The point is, like, it's not that it's you don't get used to that shit.
Take out.
Can you live without a liver?
You take out. Hey,
You take out.
listen, I object. I don't think you can live without your liver. I'm just
You can take a kidney out.
I mean, if you don't
take the
plan
spleen
on
out.
drinking anything but water the rest of your life,
You still can't go.
you still can't go.
We had this water conversation earlier, man. It's possible. Shit,
Hey,
motherfucker.
I'm the hoe, but Omar selling his oil. That's wild, bro.
Yeah, kid.
Kev, Mama need a brand new pair of shoes. Shit. Point is,
wild.
mono is not something to play with especially when it comes to football. So, like, it may, and then he's a young quarterback. It may take a while, and I think it may be too late in the season.
I can tell by Adam Gase's face that smelling salt that he was sniffing on the sideline is going to turn into something else pretty soon.
Shit from down south.
Kev. And we talking about past the border. Kev. You got hope for any of these teams?
The Broncos are probably most likely to get their first win. They play the Jags in Denver, and I like Minshew, but I don't know. I think that's the one matchup where the team might be able to get their first win. But look, they say 6 teams got to make the playoffs, and only 3 or 4 of them look like they for real in the AFC. So, hey, 7 or 8 wins might get you in the wild card spot this year.
I
At
agree.
least in the AFC, 5 of the 7 teams come out the AFC. It's a dumpster fire.
I agree,
No.
which is why I think it's a good question to ask. I think one of these teams will turn it around. I don't believe it'll be the Jets. I also don't believe it'll be the Broncos. I think you keep your eye out for the Steelers. I think you keep your eye out for the Pittsburgh because Cleveland's
you can go ahead.
gonna be one. Listen. Cleveland is gonna be right there at the bottom. We're gonna be in 4 weeks. We're gonna be talking about teams that suck at the halfway point. Cleveland is gonna be there because they're getting ready to be 1-6.
Hey, dog.
And look at Pittsburgh's schedule, bro. They
Hey.
don't fucking play anybody.
Yeah, but you talk about the Jets. The Jets follow the Patriots up with the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Patriots again, then the Jags, then the Dolphins.
All right, real quick,
right when
rapid
Mono
fire.
come back.
Week 3.
They do like they Trump supporters at quarterback too.
Oh, wow. Week 3 breakout. Kev talked about Daniel Jones. We also had Mr. Kyle Allen, who looked good against Arizona. Newsworthy or nothing to see here. Rapid fire. I'll start with you, Kev.
Absolutely newsworthy. It just means 2 quarterbacks in the NFC might not get their job back.
It's newsworthy, barely, but it's newsworthy.
That.
Nothing to see.
Newsworthy.
All right. Let's get to our rabbit hole segment with Red O. Take it away.
Listen. So, the gift that keeps on giving,
What's his name?
Mr. A.B. Antonio Brown.
He's in a personal rabbit hole.
Yes. You try and feel bad for the brother, but it's all.
Did he drop the hard R?
Hey, listen. He can't be a part of my brotherhood.
Ditch them
He
quick.
is a hard R.
Oh, please get to it.
So, oh shit. I'm not fucking with y'all today. So, Antonio Brown, Mr. Can't Get Right of the Year, after he's been cut by his last chance, the Patriots, decided to announce that he was going back to school, that he was going to re-enroll
He did say that.
at Central Michigan College. Now, ESPN posted it, SportsCenter tweeted it out, Adam Schefter retweeted it, and the hijinks ensued. And as this segment rolls on, we know social media, the comments are king. And as it started, Noah Syed started with God bless these professors. Which may be the realest shit ever because I know it's an online class, but goddamn. Ford F-150 owner said, especially the ones grading his essays, prayers up. ND, Mr. Packer Sports 22, but whatever. He says they're the real heroes. Robert, hopefully it's a communication major, because boy, don't we know he needs it. And then Nick Bissonette, I believe. Antonio Clown or Clowntonio Brown. And then Colin Justin went, that boy about to drop 300 yards, 5 TDs, and 3 sexual assaults a game. Because he's going to try and play for Central Michigan. The football version of a triple-double, Barbados Slim said. Then Louis Zamora said, wouldn't he need 10 TDs and 10 sexual assaults? And then somebody said, no, that's a double-double.
With cheese.
And then John Madden said, future breaking news. Central Michigan announces they have elected to part ways with Antonio Brown. So he's going to get dropped by his own school. And then, I'm a little blind. Phil said he's about to re-enter the NFL draft and become a first-round pick again. Mind blown. So that was our rabbit hole.
Thank you, Redo.
That triple-double shit had me crying when I put that together.
I really can't see.
Check on that, brother.
Yeah.
Check on your strong friends.
Let's check on Redo's eyes as well.
Man, listen. They're worse than yours.
Let's get out of here with our game picks. We've got some good matchups this week. First of all, Redo is still in the lead.
What? And it's growing.
Get out of here. 31
Grew
wins.
about one game.
Yeah, but that's growing.
Correct. Hey, listen, Dev, he already said he embraces longevity.
Jesus Lord.
All right, let's get out of here with this. We've got in our Thursday night matchup, the Philadelphia Eagles going to Lambeau Field to go against the Green Bay Packers. Dad, who do you have?
I have Packers at home on a short week. Eagles still banged up.
Les.
Packers.
Yeah, my philosophy is on Thursday nights, I'm taking the home team till otherwise. I don't know what you guys were thinking last week. I'm taking Green Bay. Kev.
Let's keep that train going. Packers.
If it wasn't a short week, I'd be taking the Eagles. But I'm going with the Packers at home.
All right. Buffalo Bills, are you ready for your close-up? Because it's coming this week.
It happens every year for them.
Well, listen, they're 3-0. They're
They
smelling.
were 5-0 a couple years ago.
Kev, don't do that. You taking the Pats?
Tell you the Patriots, man.
I dare you to take the Bills.
Grand Oberlin, Grand Cleveland.
Come on, son.
Yeah, I'm taking the Pats. Come
All
on
right.
now. Yeah, it's easy. And then probably the best matchup of the weekend, we've got the Minnesota Vikings who, listen, man, if your wagon is hitched to Kirk Cousins, I don't know what to make of you. You got the Minnesota Vikings. They looked all right against the Raiders. They did what they were supposed to do at home.
Hey, number 35, Riley, the safety for the Raiders. I don't know how he get back on the bus. Every week, we talk about him getting burnt, but yet they run him out there every week.
And they saw him on film.
Yes, and they picked him out.
Hello, Adam
and said,
Thielen.
Adam Thielen, just run away from him.
There you go.
Just run away from him. You're going to be
It's
open.
funny because he's white.
We've got the Vikings against Red O's Bears at home, Soldier Field. Junior Blue, who you got?
I got the Bears because I don't believe in the Vikings offense.
He had an up-close look at him.
Yeah, I don't believe in it.
You agree?
I have the Bears because the only way that the Vikings can move the ball is running, and they're not going to be able to do that against the Bears.
I have the under. How about that? I'm taking the under. Listen here, folks. We're not doing the best this year, but trust me, whatever the total is coming way under that. Take the under. Kev.
Listen, man, I have the privilege of seeing Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Dion, Rod Woodson, Terrell Suggs in person. I have never, ever seen anything like Khalil Mack until last night. There is no way to stop him, and I'm not picking against the Bears until the Super Bowl.
Total is 38.
Watch this.
33.
Take the over.
This guy. Okay. Listen, tell us why.
Just take it.
Cue the music.
Just take
while
it.
he's telling us why it's going to go over.
Just take it.
Take the over.
Just take it.
All right. He's saying take the over. All right. Well, this has been another episode of 32 Kings,
You
bro.
gonna take it, Kenyon?
No, I'm definitely not taking it. The score will be a little to a little bit.
Is you going to eat your cornbread?
We will see you next week. As a reminder, follow us everywhere on social media. Our handle is @TheLeagueAM. Also, please check out our website, theleagueam.com. Please subscribe to and like our YouTube channel, League Ambassadors. Let's raise our empty glasses.
Show the fuck are.
Cheerio!
Hey,
Uber everywhere.
bear down, baby.
We busted in, we broke down the door, we came to win. TLA season 4, it's a whole new game. We the agents of change, whole new scope with a whole new range. It didn't exist, so we built our own lane. We all knew the risk, it's a cold ass game. But first and foremost, we reppin' the fans because we nothing but fans living out our dreams. Crossing the pond with these 32 teams. There's only one road and there's only 5 kings.